The year is 1865, and the United States has smacked the rebelling faction in a bloody civil war into submission. Great, now we can reconstruct the South and bring our brothers and sisters back into the Union. Yeah, dude, let's reconstruct the South together. Great, but I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. So basically, at the time, there were two factions in the government. The Republicans, led by President Lincoln, and the Radical Republicans. Their ideologies differed greatly. Lincoln didn't really want to punish the South, while the Radical Republicans wanted the exact opposite. This argument between Lincoln and the Radical Republicans ended pretty quickly after the war when a disgruntled actor from Virginia decided to make the president a little more open-minded. And so, after that mind-blowing event, this guy got into charge. And honestly, just look at him. He looks like an off-brand Richard Nixon. There are many words to describe Andrew Johnson. He was a coward, he was an idiot, he was a moron, he was a dingleberry, and he had 2 brain cells left, and they were fighting over a piece of cheese. But there was one thing that made him a problem for the Reconstruction effort. He was a Southern Democrat, which meant that he opposed many of the guaranteed freedoms that Lincoln proposed for the African Americans. Plus, he believed in states' rights, which meant, you see, the Confederacy was actually fighting for states' rights. Oh yeah? States' rights to do what? What did we not want you to do? Don't really seem to mention that part too often. So anyway, during this time, there was a government agency called Freedmen's Bureau that basically helped formerly enslaved people regain common skills such as reading and writing and cooking and learning and stuff, yeah. But some people weren't very happy about this decision. For example, our good friend Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was a former Confederate general during the war. So one day he was all like, I really hate that black people can vote now. How should we fix that? There should be a way to control them like we used to or something. What are your ideas? Incredible violence. Here, grab a torch. We're gonna go commit arson. Racist organizations with funny names, like the Ku Klux Klan, did some not-so-funny things by threatening black Americans with death if they refused to not vote. Hey, maybe we should check out how the Reconstruction effort is going in the South. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, that's a little bit better. Oh, hell. There were 2 big, lingering problems in this situation. Problem number 1 was the military occupation of the South. The former Confederacy was divided into 5 military districts and was treated as a former country, which is pretty much the exact opposite of what Lincoln wanted. Obviously, the Southerners were going to show resistance to the occupation. They saw these Northern soldiers as radicals who took away their slaves and gave African Americans the right to vote. They also saw them as occupying their land instead of taking what was theirs. The second big problem was this buffoon. This really stupid person was a racist as well. So that means he opposed many extensions to the Freedmen's Bureau agency. At this point for Johnson, Freedmen's Bureau and the Reconstruction and, giving rights to black people was just a way to avoid political suicide. Another big problem with military occupation is that it was very bare bones and didn't really assert any of the problems at all. Before Lincoln's mind-opening experience, he introduced a new plan for Reconstruction called the 10% Plan. Basically, the 10% plan said that if 10% of the Southern states voters agreed to rejoin the Union, then they would, be readmitted into the Union. It was really bare bones because honestly, at the time, nobody really expected the South to vote even 2% in favor of joining the Union. Hey, guess what? Since a bunch of your stupid rebel kind got into Congress, we're gonna make you not people anymore. Oh yeah? How are you gonna do that? I take away our rights to be people, the rights to live here without the permission of your owner, the rights to be here without the permission of your owner, the rights to, publicly assemble, and basically, you're slaves again. There's no way we're gonna agree to that. How are you gonna enforce it? Hey, I got a couple of ways. And there is sharecropping, which is kind of mutually exclusive with the prepubescent Jim Crow laws. So basically, freedmen, doesn't actually have to be freedmen, it could be white people as well, would work on plantations and they would have to give 1/4 of their profits to the owner of the land. This may seem fine until you realize that many black people after the war were uneducated, so the white owners could fudge the numbers in order to leave the blacks in a cycle of debt. Back in the White House, Andrew Johnson finally had a brainwave and was like, you know what, I'll at least try to pretend like I care about this civil rights issue or whatever. Here's an amendment that barely changes things. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution granted all people born or naturalized in the United States citizenship. Then in 1867, a couple of North Carolinian senators said this: hey, we still really hate the North, and we also hate the black people, so I guess you gotta just know that, and we still hate the North, and we'd do it again if we could, but we hate the North, that's what we want you to know. We hate the North. And then Johnson looked at that and said, boom, there it is, I done did it, just saved America. I'm going on break. But I actually said that as a joke because the North Carolina thing happened in 1867 or 1868, but the Johnson thing happened a long time back. Basically, right when Lincoln was assassinated.